Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about intermittent fasting and ketosis Q&A. There's a lot of little questions. I want to create one video to explain everything. So the first question people keep asking is, can I chew gum on a ketogenic diet? That's not going to be significant at all. It's so small. And I also recommend you do the xylitol gum, not the aspartame type gum that everyone else does. So yes, you can do some gum. Lemon water, is that okay? Totally fine. Lemon juice is not a big factor at all. So tart, but there's not a lot of sugar. Wheatgrass juice powder. I do wheatgrass juice powder during the fast, not a problem. It's my multi-vitamin, mineral, everything, okay? Protein powders, only with a meal, because it's protein, so that will spike insulin, especially if it's low-fat protein or whey protein. You want to add some fat to it and then also have it after the meal or during the meal, but not as a snack. A cheat day. Well, I already have a video on that, but no, there is no such thing as a cheat day on my program. But because here's the thing, when you would do a cheat day, you pretty much are bumped out of this ketosis for a period of time because it takes a while to get into ketosis. It's going to take a while to get back to ketosis. So on some people, it's going to take 3 days to get back. On others, it could even take a week. I'm not kidding. So that could be a long time. So that could explain why you may not be losing weight, because you might be doing a cheat day twice a week, nullifying everything. It really depends how much you cheat. Calories and 2 meals. Like, how do you fit in all your calories into 2 meals or even 1 meal? Well, there's a kind of a balance. You don't want to stuff yourself to this huge meal where you're stuffed all day. You want to eat a really good, healthy meal. Make sure the food is really nutrient dense. The kale shakes I always recommend, because that has more nutrition than other types of greens. And make sure it's like salmon. That's a higher quality than chicken. And then you may have to enhance with certain types of nutrients. But we're not necessarily trying to stuff ourselves. We're trying to have 2 big meals, and just till you're satisfied. And believe it or not, the body will adapt to that many calories. There's a confusion that people think that if they have less meals, then they're starving and it's going to slow the metabolism. That is not true, because you're doing nutrient-dense meals. If you do a small meal and you're still hungry and it's like empty calories, or like 5 small meals of empty calories with sugar, you're definitely going to create kind of a situation where you're going to be hungry and craving all the time, and your metabolism will slow down simply because you're cutting the calories, but you're cutting the nutrients. So the real key is the nutrients. So those meals that you consume have to be robust, large, very, very complete. I've created other videos just on that one topic. Okay, keto rash. Now, typically it's either 2 situations. Either the liver is dumping something, and usually the reason for that is that you're losing a lot of fat. A lot of the toxins in your body is stored in the fat. So a lot of times those toxins can come out of the fat, circulate through the blood, through the lymphatic system, and come out as a rash. So one thing to combat that is to consume a large quantity of vegetables. Make sure that's very high to kind of offset some of the other fat burning that's occurring. But also bentonite clay. You can consume that on an empty stomach. Bentonite clay is interesting because it's like a little piece of clay that does adsorption, which it's kind of like it absorbs on the outside of the particle. It's 2,000 times its weight. So it's like a very powerful magnet for toxins, or a sponge that will pull these toxins so they don't leach out into the tissues. Okay, bentonite clay. Okay, apple cider vinegar and lemon drink, not a problem on this on times of fasting. Go ahead and consume that. Is not going to be an issue. Will my cholesterol go up? On some people, yes, simply because the fat cell is composed of cholesterol and triglycerides, okay? So your body can only burn the triglycerides. It doesn't burn cholesterol. So what happens, some people, especially if they're losing a lot of weight, like 50 or 60 pounds, and they have a lot of weight to lose, they could have a higher level of cholesterol. But I put a link down below for you to get the complete scoop on LDL, HDL, and total cholesterol, because you don't really have to worry about it if you're doing this correctly and you're doing a lot of vegetables. That's just the excess cholesterol coming out of the fat cell that has to come out, has to go through the liver, and be dismantled through the gallbladder. Now, the keto flu or keto fatigue is basically a situation where you're missing, you're depleting potassium and B vitamins. So if you were to put those back in, either an electrolyte powder or you can do nutritional yeast, that should handle it like that. Other things that can happen too, which I don't want to get into that detailed, like you could have an issue with more chance for a kidney stone, for example, right? Well, potassium citrate will totally handle that. And that's only if you're not consuming enough potassium from the vegetables, which I know is not the case because you eat all your vegetables. Do I recommend either one of these during breastfeeding? Not really, because you don't want to do a diet or you don't want to try to lose weight when you're breastfeeding. You want to make sure maximize the food there and not worry about doing too much fasting, especially since you have a lot of stuff coming out from the fat cell. Same thing with pregnancy. Don't recommend it. Just eat really healthy during pregnancy and don't worry about trying to lose weight or maintain your weight. The key thing with pregnancy, and this is a side note, is make sure you take cod liver oil or some grass-fed liver. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you consume the right amount of vitamin A, not from a pill, but from food, you can prevent a lot of issues with dental arch problems, overbite, underbite. So you want your child to come out so he or she does not get braces and has good bone structure. That's all the fat-soluble vitamins and the trace minerals. So make sure you take trace minerals and fat-soluble vitamins. I like cod liver oil, and sea kelp is a good one, or plant-based trace minerals. Okay, for kids, can kids do this? Well, if a child is really overweight, I probably would put them on this. But if they're not, I would put them on a version of this and actually recommend maybe some fruit, not the extra sweet stuff, but I wouldn't worry about berries. Maybe bananas would be fine. But yeah, that's maybe sweet potatoes, yams would be okay. But other than that, if their metabolism is so fast, they're going to need some type of starch or else they're going to get really, really skinny. Okay, Bulletproof Coffee. Question keeps coming up, can I do that? Well, some people just have it in the morning to sustain them, and that's not a problem. But it is kind of like a meal if you're adding fat or coconut oil. It is considered a meal, and it could potentially spike insulin a little bit. So my whole point with this is try it out and see if you're happy with your results with weight loss. Try it out for a week, and then don't try it for a week and see how it affects your weight. Some people do really good, some people do not. And I'll just make one change. Maybe I'll cut down the butter they put in there or the coconut, and bam, they just start really losing weight. So experiment on that, but make sure you don't do a lot of coffee simply because it stimulates the adrenal. So 1 in the morning would be perfect. Now, as far as milk, if you want to put some organic milk, just a little bit, it's not a big deal, okay? Kombucha tea, if you're going to do kombucha tea, for most people, it's fine. It does have, it ranges from 2 grams of sugar up to like 10 grams of sugar. Make sure it has no more than 2 grams of sugar. And make sure that's 1 serving size. And also, that's another one where it could potentially bump you out of ketosis, but it may not. So experiment. But people that want a substitute for alcohol, this is what I would recommend. Drink in a champagne glass. It's carbonated. It has the texture of beer. It will relax you. But you don't need much. Just do a little bit. If you do too much, it can actually make you even too acidic, and it can throw off your pH where your breathing is off a little bit to keep you up at night. Okay? A lot of information. Just wanted to cover these questions, and let me know what you think below. Put your comments. Thanks for watching. Hi guys. Hey, listen, I created a pretty amazing evaluation quiz down below that actually analyzes your symptoms to find the cause, the root cause of all of your symptoms, the most likely cause. So take the quiz now, and we'll send you a report.